Okay, hey AP Chem. I told you I was going to make a video of your first lab setup, and this is actually quite a simple one. So tomorrow you're going to be doing the molecular mass of a liquid lab, a volatile liquid lab. And what volatile means, if you don't know, is that that liquid easily vaporizes to the gas phase, so it doesn't take too much temperature. Tomorrow you're going to be carrying out the liquid turning into a gas in this Florence flask, and you'll find them in the fume hood tomorrow. Now it's going to be a bit different because you're not going to put the Florence flask directly onto the hot plate. The way that you're going to heat this up so that liquid goes into the gas phase is if you have a 600 ml beaker with a little bit of water in it. Now, every lab bench I just made sure has at least a set of 600 ml beakers. If your lab team finds out that you don't have one, I will have them. But this is the only size flask that fits the Florence flask perfectly. So as you can see, I put this in here, and even though it rises to the top, you're gonna make sure that it stays in there. Now I had a little bit of water in here because when you put your beaker that has that little bit of water onto the hot plate, the energy or the heat from the hot plate is going to go directly to the water, and this is how we're going to figure out the temperature of our gas in here. When this water boils, we know that it's going to be 100 degrees Celsius, which means that if I see that my liquid, which it will be, when it's in the gas phase, it will be at 100 degrees Celsius if the water in here is boiling. Another part of setup is you're going to cover this Florence flask with foil and poke a little hole at the top. Okay, so you're gonna wrap it with foil after you have your volatile liquid in there and poke it with a little hole. You could use maybe your thermometer and you poke like a little hole, and that with your volatile liquid is gonna go into your beaker. Another thing that it wants you to do is to get the mass of that liquid before you vaporize it. You're gonna have an unknown liquid that I will distribute to each of your teams, and you're gonna put it into the Florence flask. If you remember how to get masses of things in flasks, you could get the mass of this Florence flask empty, so let's say it was 105 grams, and then I'm gonna put my volatile liquid in here, whatever amount, I'll squeeze whatever amount into here, and then you get the mass of that after. Knowing conservation of matter, and I'm going to have this closed that nothing's going to get out of here, the mass of the gas is going to be the mass of this liquid. And that's the mass that you're going to use way later when you're trying to get the molar mass of this gas. And then, of course, once you get that mass, you're going to cover it with the foil like I said, and you're going to put it onto or in the beaker with water. And I only have like 150 to not even 200 milliliters of water from the tap in here. That's probably going to be suffice. If you want to do a little bit more, you just don't want it to go over. And I'm going to keep it in there and turn on the hot plate, and I'm going to watch carefully to make sure that that liquid in there, and you could see it. If you were to kneel down, you would see that you could see a bit of the liquid still in there. I don't know if you could see it from here. Probably not. But you'll see it when you're in person. You're going to see that there's liquid in there still, and as soon as you're heating this up, you'll see that when the water starts to boil, there should be no more liquid phase of our unknown in there. It'll be completely a gas. And that gas, if you remember, gases take up the entire space of the container that's in. So these Florence flasks are 250 milliliters, but that's not 100% accurate. So what you're also going to do is think about how you got the volume of the gas from the airbag lab. You're going to fill this up with water, put it into a graduated cylinder, and get the volume that this flask is. Okay? So, tomorrow when you walk in, my expectation is that you've watched this video, you have your quick and easy setup. The hot plates will be found on either sides of the big main lab bench in the middle of the lab. You could use the yellow ones or the small ones, that's fine. And you really don't need to record the temperature, because the temperature you're going to assume is 100 degrees Celsius if it's in boiling water. But the one thing that you do want to get is that pressure. And remember, weatherchannel.com. So if you go to weatherchannel.com, that'll give you the pressure of the day in inches of mercury, and we have to convert that to eventually millimeters to atmospheres, millimeters of mercury in atmospheres. And we use that pressure because the particles in the container are pushing against the atmosphere, And we know that the pressure of the gas is going to be equal to the pressure of the atmosphere in which it's being pushed down. So that's how we're going to use the pressure. You get the volume from the flask in here, and you're probably going to assume the temperature is 100 degrees Celsius. If I have P, I have V and T, and I know R, I can get my moles of gas. And you have the mass of the gas. It's going to be up to you to figure out how I go from mass and moles to molar mass. So make sure you understand this video. You watch it a couple of times, and as soon as you walk in tomorrow and I say, go ahead, go, you are ready to set up the lab. All right, I'll see you tomorrow morning, AP Chem.